Hi, this is Chapter 31, The Sorrow of War. Now as to weapons, these are inauspicious tools, abhorrent to all things. A follower of the Tao has no place for them. In his palace in peacetime, the ruler accords honor and respect to the left-hand side, but in war, it is the right. Weapons are inauspicious tools. They are not the tools of a ruler, and he only turns to them as a last resort. Above all, he prizes the quiet and unremarkable. Victory is not something he covets, since a man who covets victory perforce delights in slaughter, and a man who delights in slaughter will never truly impose his will on the world. In celebration, the left is the place of honor. In mourning, it is the right. The second in command takes his place on the left, the commander on the right, for this is in accordance with the funeral rites. Anyone who has slaughtered a multitude in battle should weep for them in bitter mourning, and victory should be marked in accordance with the funeral rites. It reminds me of quite a bit, actually, and how bloodthirsty some people can be. You have to remember that that I think that fighting may be inevitable, but war doesn't have to be. And there is a distinction between fighting and war. When you fight one person, you fight them because you can't reach them, you can't speak to them or reason with them or negotiate with them. But with a war, there are so many people involved, thousands or possibly tens of thousands or millions. You can't tell me that you couldn't reach any one of them. And if you couldn't reach any one of them, then maybe you weren't the right person that they should have been speaking to. But I just think of it like that. If you're fighting one person, that's one failed conversation. If you're fighting millions, that's millions of failed conversations, millions of failed negotiations. There's no way you failed that many without trying to fail that many. A fight might have to happen to protect yourself or to protect your family, but a war, I don't see a reason for that making sense on that scale. Some ideas just don't scale up without ethical questions being presented inevitably as a result of their infinite scaling upwards. Some people might point to, the Revolutionary War here in the United States, or maybe even World War II or something like that. But even in those cases, I wonder if it was actually necessary. I think about Canada and how Canada was able to receive independence from the British Crown without going to war with them. And I think about how it might have been possible through economic forces and political pressures to rob Hitler of his power without having to go to war directly. Now, maybe some people out there will think that that's naive, and some people out there will think that that's too optimistic. But I just think in a world with so many options, killing somebody is the least imaginative solution. And when you kill thousands or millions, how much more unimaginative are you than the person who would kill one person? How much more of a empty and easy solution is it? And maybe we shouldn't be looking for the easy solution. Maybe the reason why something is difficult to do is also the reason why it's worth doing. And so if killing one or thousands is the easy solution, that's the exact reason it shouldn't be done, because it's easy. And that's not the point. The point is not to be easy. You can take pride in a difficult task that was solved with effort, but who takes pride in a task that was solved effortlessly? Who thinks to themselves, wow, that was easy, I should pat myself on the back for how easy that was? Now, some people might say, well, what about an eloquent solution? But the thing about eloquent solutions that people tend to forget, in my opinion anyway, is that eloquent solutions are not easy necessarily. As a matter of fact, I think back to some of the things that I've seen solved eloquently. Like if you think about a chess game where somebody is able to eloquently defeat their opponent in a game of chess, the victory is concise, but that doesn't mean it was easily comprehended. If it was easily comprehended, it would have been blocked. And so you can have concise, eloquent solutions that are by no means simple. In other words, sometimes a solution can be beautifully executed, but that doesn't mean that it was simple to execute. Just because it was done well doesn't mean it was easily done.